Hi, Kento.
Hello. And your name's Joseph.
My name's Joseph. Yes, thank you.
Where did we meet?
We met, I was riding my scooter, my Segway GT1. You said I had a nice hat.
Yeah. So.
You liked my hat?
Yeah, I liked your hat. You're on your Segway.
And I like that.
Yeah.
And the conversation began.
Yeah. You can face me if you want.
Okay.
We're having a conversation. Okay. This is my first very long interview. It can go up to 2 hours. You know, I'm really, into having a deep conversation. So I'm really ready for this. Yeah.
Awesome. That's really good to hear, because when someone says, "Are we overthinking this?"
Not at all.
No. The answer is always no.
No. I'll just get my answer from my heart, because it's about me.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to give you my information about how I see the world.
Wonderful. Kento, we wrote some questions down, but these questions are meant to really just get you started. You can go anywhere with these, and you can come back to questions. You could ask me repeat questions.
Yeah.
The first question I wrote down was, what does it mean to you to be an artist? You're an artist.
Yes, I'm an artist. So, in one sentence, I would say it's putting your view onto some kind of a medium, putting your own perspective onto some kind of a medium, and having a representation, and it has to be some kind of representation where people can interpret your own view. So it's a way of communication.
Okay. I like that. What is an artist to you? What is an artist?
Somebody who has a point. A true artist is someone who has a point. Regardless if you don't like the artist at all, if the artist has a point, then you're an artist.
Okay. So it's not when someone gets paid for their artwork.
No.
It's when someone has a point to make.
Point to make. Yeah.
Something to say.
Something to say.
I like that.
That's a very simple way to put it.
Yeah. And on that same train of thought, when did you first conceptualize what an artist was? Do you recall those memories?
When I was in third grade, the career I didn't want was an artist. So I thought becoming an artist when I was in elementary school was an impossible thing to do, because I live in another country. I'm from Japan. I'm from Nagoya City. It's the heart of Japan. It's center south of Japan, and that's where I grew up 12 years of my life. I'm currently 21, so I spent over half of my life in Japan, and I've been living in Burbank, California for about 9 years.
Okay, and how do you spell the city that you're from? How do you spell the city?
Nagoya, Nagoya City.
Okay. When did you first realize you were an artist?
I always had an imagination more than, I guess I don't want to say more than the average person, but maybe I have more than. I don't think I'm a normal person. Even if I like to think I'm a normal person, I would dream about it and try to remember things. when I wake up. And I did lucid dreaming for a couple months and like wrote down some ideas. I always wanted to like experiment with any idea I had in my head, and that's why I am an artist.
Because you like experimentation.
I like experimentation. Yes.
Would you say that an artist is always experimenting?
Yes. Yes.
Both thought experiments, philosophical experiments,
Yes.
idea experiments,
Yes.
and then experiments of how to translate these ideas into some kind of medium,
Yes.
whatever that may be.
Whatever that may be.
It could be written,
It could
spoken,
be written, sculpture. It could be anything.
even spoken words,
Yes.
or it could be color and line
Yes.
in art
Yes.
and depth.
Yes.
When is the first time someone called you an artist or referred to you as an artist?
I think that's so. I was told that I couldn't play the piano when I was 5 years old. They have in kindergarten back in Japan. I was in a keyboard class. I think it was like music appreciation, but I just didn't like to follow directions, you know. So I think I had my own way of thinking, and that didn't really go with what the teacher wanted to go about. So the kindergarten teacher sent me to Yamaha piano lessons, and I hated reading music because it's just too complicated. I wanted to just express my ideas, but I didn't have the tools yet. So after 1 week of lesson, even the Yamaha piano teacher told me to quit because I didn't like practicing and reading music. And I had a neighbor who was taking private piano lessons, and his mother recommended me how to play piano without reading music. So the teacher will show you how to play with your hands, and I'll just look at how she plays with your hands, and I'll just like take it in as I go. I loved how music had dynamics, so I was paying attention to the fundamentals of classical music, and I did that for like 6 years. And she was the first one to tell me I'm an artist because I had something to say within my music and how I tell even a classical piece, you know. So I had something to say more than her students, I guess. That's her opinion.
You had something to say similar to her students, or beyond?
Beyond.
That was different.
That
than her
was
students.
different. That was different.
And her students you're referring to are these students
Like
that
I was more like if I were to play forte, I would play forte instead of forte. Like I thought forte was, you know, that forte to me. I think I had character in my playing, so that's what she pointed out, that I had something to say.
I see.
Like people are afraid. I think people are just afraid to experiment, and even if it's like just simple dynamics, they have trouble expressing themselves. But I had no trouble expressing myself, regardless of how I want to express it. You know.
When you say people, do you mean both teachers and students?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
And your teacher at the time, it sounds like she encouraged that.
Yeah, she encouraged me to continue playing music because
And she was able to acknowledge
Yes.
what was taking place.
Yes, yes.
She was able to acknowledge your difference from the
Yes,
others.
Yes. And as a teacher, that's an important piece of the puzzle for students. You know, being able to differentiate what every student's needs, and give guidance to that path of success.
Would you say a great or master teacher, if we just say it that way, is someone who disciplines and also uses forms of punishment to teach, or rather is there other ways to teach that are better in your thoughts?
I think play is very important when it comes to creating music, playing music, making art, trying to understand art, playing with things, schools teach you to do homework and like you gotta do this, do that. But I think play is very important when it comes to understanding concepts. Yeah.
Tell me about play. What does it look like? What may it look like?
Well, play is just experimentation.
It's having fun with something.
Yes. So let's say
it's an exploration.
Yeah. A children wants to play, video games. They want to have fun.
Yes.
They want to have fun doing things, and if they want to have fun doing things, then they have to go through a series of experimentation.
So maybe ridicule and punishment
may
be irrelevant to that process.
Yes.
How about discipline, if we use that word?
Discipline is very important.
What does discipline look like to you in the way that you're saying it?
It's like you decide to say or do things, and you don't do it. That's like you're not disciplined.
Okay. Follow through with it.
You gotta follow through.
With the experiment.
Regardless how much time it takes, you gotta follow through things.
Follow through with the experiment. Follow through with the play.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
Enjoy it.
Yes.
How about being disciplined? Is that different?
Being disciplined is
like someone
doing that over and over. Following through your words and.
How about a teacher disciplining the students? Is what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I think.
Is that relevant to the process we're discussing here?
A teacher should be a proctor, not someone who gives directions for every single thing.
Tell me about a proctor.
Students need to figure out how to survive on their own, because that's what they're thrown into. They're here to survive.
Yes. So not to be micromanaged.
No.
What's a proctor? Talk about that word you used.
Well, proctor is some kind of. It's a coach. A coach is not always perfect, but like he or she is trying their best to guide them to success. Not.
I see.
They might have their own ideologies, but they're trying their best to push them into a direction of success, regardless of what they're doing.
And what may success look like in the way that you said you're referring to it?
I think success is being able to translate your thinking into reality.
I like that. How do you feel about being an artist?
Sometimes lonely, but I just accept it as a part of being an artist, because if you're the only person in the room who has a different point, that's why you're an artist. You want to have a different opinion in the room. Otherwise, you can't make a point.
Right. And for some reason, I don't think you're saying that this is a rebelliousness.
No.
You're not rebelling against something.
No.
I often tell people, I'm not necessarily against something, it's just that I'm for something else.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm against this or that, but I'm kind of busy with what I'm busy with.
Right.
What I'm for.
Yeah, I'm busy with my stuff.
Yes.
Please don't bother me.
And that can be a lonely place.
Yes. So you gotta be a strong person. I want to be an artist.
I understand.
Otherwise, there are all these artists just commit suicide and all that, do drugs. And I think it's I don't know. In my opinion, it's wrong. You know, if you want to be an artist, you gotta take ownership. You gotta take ownership of your beliefs.
And what does that look like? If you elaborate on that.
You're following through your strong opinions, regardless of what people say.
So what is drugs, alcohol, and suicide to you if we put all those together? You could separate them. What are
It's an
those?
escape. You know, it's an escape from your own identity.
It's an escape from play.
Yeah, it's an escape from play. Exactly.
It's our job to find a way to enjoy
Exactly.
the experimentation.
Exactly.
Suicide, drugs, and alcohol are irrelevant to that.
Irrelevant.
What would you say to people that think they need drugs, alcohol, and near-death experiences, the thrill of that, if we say that, they might say to open up more creativity. Some people think that they need that.
Yeah. So.
What is your thoughts about that?
So being an artist is an emotional, intensely labor.
It's an emotionally
Intense labor.
intense labor.
Because you're trying to translate a feeling into some kind of a medium, you know, in the best way possible. So the artist is always like constantly trying to think, how am I going to express this, you know, in the most thought-provoking way? And that's why they rely on drugs, because it gives them like the high, like a strong sense of feeling to put onto a medium. So that's why they try to find an escape from their play to do things that disregards their health.
I understand. And are they cheating themselves when they do drugs, alcohol? And
Personally, yes.
That's
Yes.
your viewpoint.
That's
that they
my
are?
viewpoint.
Because what are they giving up? Their health, for one.
They're giving up their most important asset, which is health.
And do you believe that they could develop even stronger relationship with play and expression if they were able to play without the use of drugs and alcohol?
Yes.
And
yes.
the thrill that they might find in
Yes.
near death.
Yes. Yes.
Or the threat of dying, right?
Yes.
Some people walk around talking about committing suicide,
Yes.
whether they do it or not.
Yes.
I'm not saying that's always a thrill, but there's something for them to be saying that, right? There's
Yes.
something there. Because that is not time spent playing.
Yes.
They're not talking about the play,
Yeah, they're not talking about the play.
the play of experimentation.
Regardless if they're talking about very like yucky concepts, like, you know, I don't know, this is really dark concepts, you know. Regardless if the idea is very dark or very happy or sad or anything, you don't want to take the play away.
Okay. So part of the journey is to continue. Tell me if this is correct, is what you're saying. Part of the journey is to continuously rediscover
Yes.
your relationship with the experimentation,
Yes.
and the language is play, maybe.
Yes.
And you're just always refining that language. You're always
Yes.
shaping
You're
it, refining it.
You're always constantly sculpting it in your mind.
What is art to you?
I think art to me needs a profound story. So if I really want to do something, I want to have a story behind it. And sometimes I don't have a story, so I'll just take random pictures, crop them, and make a collage. Let me show you a collage.
Okay, great.
I think I'll just send one of my collages and you can just edit it and put it in.
Well, let's show now too.
Okay.
It would be helpful to me to put it in now. It doesn't have to be perfect. Anything.
Yeah. Like this one, you know, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I felt 2 weeks ago.
How do we get it to go full screen again?
Uh,
I accidentally touched something. Okay. So this is how you were feeling when?
I think about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So I was feeling.
And you're saying this is part of the work?
Yes.
Or this is part of what art is to you?
Yes.
I understand.
So
Any
you're
more?
always trying constantly, pushing things forward. Even if other people think that it's not good art, you're always trying to do your best, trying to sculpt your emotions onto a medium.
I understand.
Without emotions, we're not human.
Okay.
But people, the overuse of emotion can take people over. So you have to use a logic part to identify the problem within your emotion. Emotion is very chaotic. We use our intuition on our daily basis to make life choices, and that's important. But emotions can give you a pitfall in life, and you have to use some kind of a method to get out of that pitfall. But life is about survival. So life gives you all these ways to bring out a solution. So I think going along with your intuition is very important, but also thinking about how you want to live your life using critical thinking.
What are some examples of using logic, critical thinking in relationship to the emotional journey?
Personally, if you don't want to directly express that emotion, like right now, you gotta use logic to sculpt that emotion and put it inside your brain somewhere. So that's how I use logic.
I understand.
And rationalizing that emotion and store it somewhere else so I can express it later.
So you could work with it.
I can work with
So you can play.
it. So yes, I can play with it.
You could turn it into a form of play.
Yes.
That creates
Yes.
something clear.
Even if it takes 20 layers, I'm still doing it.
And when you say 20 layers,
20 layers of paint.
20 layers of paint.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand. What influences the art you create?
My culture, where I come from. I think without tradition, there's no art nor culture. So I think studying your own anthropology is important. Yeah.
Would you say that art creates you, or you create art?
It's both, actually.
What percentage of each? As an approximation. Or is it variable?
I think if I was blind, I'll only be able to interpret, the sound of it. And so the only way of expression is just through writing things. If you're born blind, you don't know what a square or cup looks like, but you can draw things. I think a blind person still can draw things, but they might be in a different playing field. So I have the capability of seeing colors and just seeing the world with color. So
What is the word for that?
or it's just like reality. Reality is what you perceive. Like right now, I'm interviewing you.
Oh, right, I understand.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you mentioned something, was it synesthesiology?
The thing is, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I have this thing called synesthesia, which is I interpret music with color, and color, line, shapes And yes, so everything I'm hearing spasms of. I'd say if you ever go to like a concert, there's like a smoky thing, or like it's like a fog that comes out. It's like there's always information coming from everywhere around me. So I use that, and also the reality which I'm able to stand and experience. I combine those two realities: what I'm feeling in my mind versus what I'm actually observing, and then try to create something interesting from that.
That's amazing. When did you first learn that you had this particular ability? Is it called synesthesiology?
Synesthesia. I think I was like 5 years old when I realized this. I loved dancing since I was little. So I would go to like a Gap store and start dancing. And like when I close my eyes, I'm seeing all these like lines and sine waves and all these things back and forth.
Was this coming from the sound of your environment?
Yes, so the sound of the environment
was being translated into line, shape, color, waves?
Yes. It advanced over the years because through experimentation and all that. So.
And what age were you at that time, roughly? Approximately?
I was 5.
5, okay.
Maybe when I was 2, even when I was in nursery school before kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like the only kid just go up, center of all these kids and parents, and just like be on my own,
You were bringing your world to your environment.
Yes.
And you wanted to share what was inside you.
Yes.
That's wonderful. When did you realize that other kids didn't see the way you did?
Maybe when I was in elementary school. I think and I was like the only foreign person, basically. I'm half Japanese, half American. Going to the all Japanese school, public school. So I was just called names and like all this and that. So like I'm just gonna adopt being an outsider, and I'm okay with that,
I see. Did you ever have a friend or friends where you guys would be together, or were you just always alone in school in the early years?
I had friends, fortunately. I wasn't left out. Like,
you weren't left out?
I was not left out.
So even though you had friends and you had a group, even when you were with them, were you still picked on by other people?
By other people, and my friends would defend me.
That's good. For
what I say and what I do.
How did you create those friendships in the beginning?
I think it's through honesty and like giving back whenever I can. I have empathy, so maybe not in a way that people think it's empathy, but I still have empathy, and I always had empathy.
And your friends experienced that?
Yes.
And that's what helped create the friendships. And empathy is a sensing of their inner life.
Yes.
Did I ask you? Let's see, where are we? Okay. What is your name?
I'm Kento Hladilek. Okay.
How do we spell your name?
KentoSkyHladilek.
Okay.
So Kento means it's a Japanese name. In Japanese, Kento can have different Chinese characters, but my Chinese character my kanji means being the one brightest star in the entire universe.
Wow.
And follow with my middle name, Sky. Like, I live in the sky, you know. And Hladilek is, I believe it's a Czech name, Czechoslovakia. My grandparents from my father's side, my grandpa's parents, or one of them, were from Czechoslovakia. So I have Eastern European blood in my bloodline, I guess. And I think I don't know what it specifically means, but I asked a Czech person what it means. When I Google translated it meant a different thing from what a Czech person said, but
Okay.
on Google Translate it means strokes, brush strokes.
Oh, neat.
But then I thought,
Amazing.
that's a perfect name for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but like, I asked an actual Czech person, and just I figured out it was a different meaning.
Okay.
But
I like the one Google gave you.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
the Google Translate.
We'll go with Google Translate.
Yeah.
I'll go with that one.
Yeah. Let me pull out my last name. I don't know.
Okay.
It means a person who knows petting someone.
And that's
my last name.
according to
A Czech
the culture?
person.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody who speaks Czech.
I understand. Okay, did I
It's
ask
kind of weird, but anyway.
So I asked you what is your name. Did I ask you how you feel about your name? Did I ask you that? How do you feel about your name?
I like my name.
Okay.
I take ownership. At least the first two names, Kento and Sky,
Okay.
whatever.
Have you ever thought of changing your name?
Yes, so I had a pseudonym like a year ago,
Okay.
up till like July. I invented this name when I was in 8th grade. So that was about 6-7 years ago. I used to call myself Joe Smish.
How do you spell that?
Joesmish.
Joe Smith.
Smish.
Smish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe Smish.
TCH.
Yes.
Okay.
And like I had this idea of like taking the most common names and making it the most uncommon name ever. So like Joseph and Smith are like the most common names in the Roman language, like
Okay.
you know, Italian, French, Romanian, English, you know, Spanish. So I just took those two names, two like first name, last name, and combined together and made Joe Smish.
Okay.
And the idea behind Joe Smish was, so I want to be an artist, you know. So being an artist means taking on a popular idea and making it popular. So that's like the journey of being an artist, taking a popular opinion and trying to bring out to the community, to the people. Because art is a way of communication. And Joe Smish was something that it was a concept that I had.
Okay.
Yes. But I stopped using it because I really wanted to honor my last name and my name.
I understand. Did you say art was taking a popular idea and popularizing it? Is that what you said?
No, unpopular.
Oh, taking an unpopular idea and popularizing it.
Yes.
I see. Giving life to it.
Giving life, yeah.
Giving access to it. Giving
yeah.
play to
Exactly, giving play.
it. I get it. If you could give yourself any name, what name or words would you use to describe yourself in a word?
I guess I'm spontaneous. Like, you mean like how I describe myself in adjectives, or you mean like a different first name?
Both. Let's do both.
I don't know what I would name myself besides Kento.
Okay.
I'm Kento.
And how about
I'm
if
no one else. I'm just Kento.
Okay. And how about if we use adjectives in description?
Spontaneous.
Okay.
I call myself very introspective, even if I seem like I'm very extroverted. I have parts I'm introverted about. So I have the both extremes. I just like taking like the extremes and like try to make something my own, you know.
Yes. I like that. That's great.
The emotional extreme, the logical extreme, you know.
And bring them together?
Bring them together. Just bring it to the middle, you know.
Yeah.
I think the clash kind of makes it. I think the clash creates that energy, and I think my art has energy, and that's what I always strive to do. You know, bring out my energy into my art. You know.
I understand. How would you describe yourself as a person?
It really depends on the day, but I'm usually I'm trying to be helpful. You know, I can talk to anybody if they have, you know, respect for me. I'm respectful. I can have strong opinions about things. I think I describe myself as a genuine person, pure-hearted. Mm-hmm. Yes, from the beginning.
And when you say you want to be helpful, it sounds like
I want to be part of the community.
Yeah, and you want to build.
I want to build.
You want to
something.
make things. You want to collaborate.
Yes.
You want to contribute.
I want to contribute.
You want to improve things.
Yes, I want to improve things.
And that's the air you breathe, I guess.
Yes.
You breathe that.
I breathe that.
So no matter how you are on any given day, that's always the foundation upon which you stand, I guess.
Yes. Yes. I'm trying to understand every medium possible right now. So I've done music my entire life, mostly from when I was 5 up till now. I play the piano. I guess you can see my piano playing on YouTube.
If they look up your name on YouTube? Okay.
Yeah. I've been playing since I was 5. So, but now I want to be a painter. The reason I decided to do painting is because it gives me the most freedom out of anything. Freedom to me is very important. Otherwise, I always have something to say, and if I can't have that space to express myself, I feel stuck. You know.
You feel stuck?
Yeah.
Like a prisoner.
I think people that feel stuck, they're just lost in their emotions, or they just have no idea what, you know, how to go about life.
And they may not even realize it.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So.
Which is the prison.
I describe myself as someone who really pays attention. Who really pays attention to things I guess I want to pay attention to. But I always pay attention to my surroundings. Even when we're talking, I'm just like, you know, I don't want to zone out or anything, but I'm just like triggered by sensory information that's coming through my eyes, coming through my ears.
And would you say, when you use the word trigger, would you say that these sensory informations are distracting, or would you say contributing to your focus of what you're saying in this video right now?
Right now, it's not as distracting, but
Okay.
it can be.
It can be.
There's always music in my mind. It's like constantly looping two to 4 bars at a time. Sometimes an entire song just pops up in my head, and I just start. Sorry, I stopped.
It's okay.
I had too many thoughts in my head, so.
It's okay. You were saying that sometimes songs can loop 2 to 3 or 4 times.
Well,
Always.
2 or 4 bars.
Oh, 2 or 4 bars.
For
Okay.
hours at a time.
Oh, wow.
Hours. So right now I'm just like, I'm listening to the song called Goodbye Boogie Dance by Henri. It's a city pop song.
Okay.
So that's been bothering me. But I'm just like, I'm here with you. I'm just trying to be with you. So I'm just ignoring that part. You know?
Okay. And what's 2 to 4 bars for people that don't know what music, don't understand music technically? What is that? What is a bar?
What a bar is like a division of a phrase. So like, so if I count in 1 4, da 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 1, da 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 2, da 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 3, da 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 da. So that's
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the beats. What do you call them, beats? Those are the beats
Yeah.
in the background right now.
yeah.
Okay. But you're choosing to focus on the presence
Yes,
of this conversation.
I'm trying to be as present as possible.
With me. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. You're doing a great job. What is the function of art?
The function of art, it gives people a voice to express themselves, regardless if it's positive or negative. I think it's one of those powerful but peaceful way to say something. You know, throughout history, art caused violence. Like, you know, even stories, you know, even literature caused violence. So,
Wow.
so art is a peaceful way to do something, to express yourself, but also it has a cause and effect.
I understand. Is there any examples that you'd like to share that come to mind of art causing violence, for example?
Well, like, you know, if you take the Bible, for example, it's one of those literary masterpieces.
Yes.
So like the Proverbs cause violence, you know? Like God said that, or something like that, and
Yes.
it caused violence. So,
How about causing peace? Can art cause peace?
yes, like it can bring to a point of understanding. This is what I'm thinking, this is what I thought, and this is what I need to express, and this is the product.
I understand.
So it depends on how people take it personally. Because people just take things very personally, and based on that, they take it into action sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I know that person. Gus.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm having an interview.
What's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
Okay, so we discussed what is the function of art, and the next one is, and your point of view or perception. What is the function of life?
The function of life. Without death, there's no purpose. Without nature, there's no life. You know. What if you're born into a white, blank, you know, place? You know, you have nothing to observe or anything to think of. So, if there's no physical reality, if there's no way of sensing reality, you know, like was it Helen Keller who had like blindness and deafness, but she was still able to feel, the fingers. So without some kind of sensory information, it's impossible to create art.
I see. What is the function of a human being?
Right now it's like to survive. If you're born into this world, you have to contribute somehow. Otherwise, it's gonna be a disaster. I feel like LA's going in that direction of becoming a disaster.
You feel like what?
It's going that direction of becoming a disaster, because there's just there are a lot of people, but there's just a lack of community between just two different people. So
Okay.
what I try to do is just like talk to strangers, even on the bus, even on the subway, if they look safe.
Yeah.
And I try to like get their opinions, and like how have you lived throughout, over the years being in LA and all that. So I'm just understanding how's it like to live in LA from the ground up, because if somebody feels something, they want to express that to somebody,
Yes. What is the potential of the human being?
Potential of the human being. Founding a community, leading the community, giving love, giving your own perspective, and taking care of people. That's what being a human means to me.
Helping as much as you can.
Helping as much as you can.
First, helping yourself so that you can help others.
If you can't help yourself, don't help other people.
Yeah.
Because you gotta have self-respect first.
Is that, you call that self-respect, taking care of yourself?
Yeah. And I don't bullshit around that. So
What'd you say?
I don't bullshit around it. So sorry if that. You can bleep that out if you want.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I want to hear what you think. What is the potential of an artist? Don't worry about saying, you can say anything you want with all these questions. You don't have to worry about saying something incorrectly.
If you're an artist who doesn't want to be particularly in the art world, it's about just like, it's like journaling, having a way to just put out your emotions. It's like just throwing pain, throwing emotions. That's what art is to a person. That's what art can't give to a person.
It's what art can't give or can give? Can give.
Yeah.
It's what art can give to a person. What is your potential as a human being?
I want to create a fantasy. I think every artist wants to create their own fantasy within reality. So, yeah, I'm just trying to give an alternative reality. Yeah, regardless if it's a positive or negative.
I'm guessing one that has community and
Yeah.
great and very articulate communication
Yes.
with emotional truth
Yes.
and
Being raw as you can.
being what?
Being raw as possible.
Being raw. Okay.
And some people just have hard time taking things raw. I just like taking things raw. adrenaline. I fuck with that, you know.
You what?
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
And what's an example? What may that look like in actions?
You felt a strong emotion from somebody else, like, you know, you went through a heartbreak, or you went through a breakup, you went through some kind of a fight, or like some kind of tragedy, and the only way to peacefully express that is through art.
Okay.
So yes, tragedy creates good art, but also if you have a strong emotion, any kind of like, if you transcend it from some kind of a state, and if you're able to express that, you know, that's art. So one thing I would say, if I get a large award in the future, is say to everyone who gave me a strong emotion, a sense of a reality. Thank you so much. Regardless if it's positive or negative.
I see. Because it's almost like material for you to work
Material.
with.
I don't know, like people call me robotic for saying like I use it as a tool. I use emotion as a tool to make something. But that's how I function now these days.
Would you refer to yourself in part or in whole as a humanitarian?
I feel selfish sometimes, but if you're not selfish, you can't be an artist.
Tell me about that. Elaborate on
Well, if you're trying to prove a point, you have to go all the way. Otherwise, what's the point? You know.
that. How did you learn that?
Just throughout life, just going through a situation, one situation at a time.
That's the introspection, thinking about your
just
experiences.
thinking, reflecting,
On your experiences.
on my experiences.
Yes.
How can I not make the same mistake? You know, how can I? If this happens again, how can I know the rules? How can I go about knowing the rules and implementing them? You know, like the world is not perfect, but if you know the rules, you can escape from that situation if things go south.
Okay.
You know?
How do you use color to tell a story?
That's really.
What comes to mind when I say that? What comes to your thoughts? There's no perfect answer.
I think it's just I don't know. The simplest way to call it is like a realm of dimension.
A realm of dimension?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's my realm of dimension. It's my.
I like that.
Yeah.
And what's dimension in the sense of the word that you're using it now? In the sense of
Dimension means just your world. You know, your world. You're trying to put your world a part of the reality. What reality means and what reality is.
Yeah. What does color mean to you?
Color is just emotions to me.
Color is emotions to you.
Color emotion. I just go very intuitively with colors. Unless I have a collage that I'm doing a painting about, then I'll just go about messing with every color possible.
Okay. How do you influence the way you see the world?
Say that question again?
How do you influence the way that you see the world? I think of introspection as a part of that.
Introspection is part of it.
Yeah. But how would you,
How I find influences?
how do you create your perception actively? How do you create the way you perceive the world? Or what comes to mind when I say that? You began to say something.
Just it's just like constantly getting, sensory information and translating through words, through art. That's how I create my own reality.
That's what we're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Creating your reality.
Creating your reality.
As unique and different from everyone else's.
Yes. Yes.
As each of us have that.
Yes.
Now I'm going to ask this question, but I just want you to say what you think of when I ask this to you, okay? And I can repeat it as many times as you want. How do you choose and shape and educate your perception of experience?
Well, it's just trying to articulate the best way possible through, like, if I ever do a solo show, I would like to have, like, question, Q&A, why I came up with this,
Yes.
And that's how I can tell my reality.
That's how you can tell what your reality is?
Yeah.
Is when you hear almost feedback
Feedback, yeah.
from your world
Yeah.
that you affect.
Now, some people like to think reality from art do not have to be understood, but personally, I like to explain how my art came about.
Okay.
How my painting. Why did I paint this?
So you like to share your experience, your perception, what affected your
Yes.
creations.
Yes.
Do you also like to hear how people perceive your work,
Yes,
even
yes.
if it's completely different
Completely different, yes.
than your
Yes.
influences in it?
Yes, and it just gives me, their personality. They're taking a piece. They're taking their knowledge, their thinking process, and taking like a piece out of my representation of the work.
Wow. I understand. Okay. Just tell me what you think when I ask you this question. If you could choose your thoughts, if you could choose what you think about each day, what would your thoughts be? What would you think about?
I'm constantly on this river of emotions.
A river of emotions?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm always trying to navigate it. I'm always pedaling. Like, there's like a strong stream this way, a weak stream this way. I'm just like trying to navigate.
Are you going with the stream?
I'm going with the stream.
But you're navigating the stream nevertheless.
And mostly against the stream sometimes. When I feel like I don't want to do things, or when I'm not feeling it, you're going against the stream. So I like going against it. I like having to battle with myself. Most people just give up because they don't like to battle with themselves. But for me, like it gives me courage.
I understand. Is there more you want to say about that?
I think that's like, it explains 80-20, I guess.
It's what?
It kind of, it's like one way to describe how I go about day by day.
Okay.
Day by day, do do ba da da da, do ba day by day, do ba 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 do do do. Yeah, it's by the Fourth Freshman.
Okay. Wonderful. If you could master anything, what would you master and why? And what would you do with this mastery? And what influences this decision, this choice? I can ask that in separate parts if you want.
Okay, so my goal
Yes.
is to revolutionize how people create things from the start. Like everybody has a different way of thinking, but there's I think there is like basic methods of going about how art is created. So I want to use something like a brain machine interface with like a software that I developed and that can translate emotions from your head straight onto a computer screen.
I see. I like that.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. If you could master anything, what would you master and why?
Well, I want to master right now. I want to master how to sculpt my emotion as perfectly as possible. That's the way of master it. You know, sculpting my emotions.
Sculpting your emotions?
Yeah.
And do you mean inside yourself and then as an expression
Yes.
of what you create
Yes.
around you?
Yes.
And then the other part of the question was,
Why?
why?
Because it's in me. It's part of me, and I have to do it. There's nothing that entertains me more than that. Regardless of positive or negative. I keep saying this because people always constantly worry about like happiness. I think happiness is important, but
It's what?
happiness is important.
It's important? Okay.
But you gotta go through some shit,
Yeah.
and you gotta hold on tight. Like you're the driver of your own car, and not everybody is gonna sit next to you all the time. So you gotta know the mechanics of your car, and what kind of car you're driving. You know, you could be driving a Volvo, you could be driving a Ferrari, you could be driving a Subaru. You know, you gotta know what you're driving, and that's your brain. Your brain does weird things. You know, it can go towards places that you don't want to go, but at the same time, your brain just can manifest things. If you say it, if you make believe, things will become true.
Wow. That's great.
Regardless if you keep saying the false things that doesn't exist right now, if you keep saying it, it'll become a reality.
I have seen that, and I see it all the time.
Right. So never say everything's false, because if you keep saying it, it'll become a reality.
Did you say never say everything's false?
Yeah.
Okay.
But some things are false because that lie happened in the past. You know, that is false. So
Okay. But we can
as long as
create
you're
things.
as long as you're alive, if you just keep telling yourself to make believe things, you know, that you want to believe, it will become a reality. You know, this didn't happen because I did not think of it. I thought of it. You know, otherwise I wouldn't be in this outfit.
Yes. You created it.
I had a thought. I created it.
Thoughts are like a material thing almost.
Material, yeah.
They're like
material.
real. It's created in the universe. But we can choose what we do with them. To some degree, right? We can choose.
I think David Goggins explained. David Goggins is an ultra runner, former Marine. He's like a super athlete, and he talked in a Joe Rogan podcast about how mine is like a garage. So if your life is kind of going the wrong direction and kind of messed up, you have so much junk in your garage. You have to clean out.
Our minds are like a fucking garage. If you open a garage and it's all cluttered up, it's all fucked up, you can't put your car in there. You got fucking boats and you got fucking kids' toys and shit everywhere. But if you organize that fucking garage and you put everything in its rightful spot, you can pull that car in there. You can put 2 cars in there. You can put bikes in there. Why people fall off the wagon so often is because their mind is full of shit.
So you gotta constantly filter your garage.
Your garage.
Your garage.
Yeah. Your storage
garage.
space. Your head,
Yeah.
your mind, your thoughts.
It's a garage that's going from from point A to point B, from one place to another, from one time to another time. So it's a constantly moving garage space, you know.
Wow. And how do we spell his name if we want to look him
David
up?
Goggins.
David Goggins?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just he's an inspiration because he's just teaching how to discipline things. You know?
Yeah. So it's David, and Goggins is Gaugins.
Goggins.
Got it. And he's on YouTube?
Yeah, he's on YouTube.
Great.
He's pretty funny.
I'll look him up for sure.
Yeah.
And then on that same question, a different part of it, which we did mention earlier, but I'm going over it again. So we said why, and then we said, what would you do with this mastery, and what influences this decision, this choice? If you had more to say on it, if there was more to say.
I think if I want to say things, I have to do it, you know. And until I die, that's what I'll keep doing.
So if you want to say things, you both have to say them, and you have to do it.
I have to do it. And some emotions I forget, but it can come back. And when it comes back, it has to go there.
Would you say that as long as the emotions cause no harm, they will be expressed?
They will be expressed, yeah.
What do you do with the ones that might cause harm? What do you do with those? Can that be expressed in a non-harmful, creative way? If there were harmful thoughts?
You can store trauma, like even if you don't like it. I just like to store everything, you know.
In your
That's
garage?
why my brain is just constantly entertaining myself, regardless if it's positive or negative or neutral, you know.
And how do you prevent yourself? How do you prevent from causing harm? How do you do it?
Art is my way.
It keeps your sanity.
It keeps my sanity. Yes.
I like that.
And one thing is, never, ever, ever give, as an artist, never ever give up your personality for anybody else. Because once you start derailing your personality, you're gonna find yourself lost.
What would be an indication that might be in danger of happening?
People telling you opinions that like you don't matter, and that kind of stuff. And I guess artists are kind of sensitive to that, but I try not to take things personally. I take it as a respectful opinion, like a critical insight, and not take it too personally.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not devastating to you.
no. Maybe that person's having a bad day.
Yes.
Maybe that person needs something, you know. So I like to go further than the surface, you know. What made you say that way, you know? I since I was a little, I always reasoned with my parents, like, why does this exist, you know? Even if they don't know the answer to it, like, why? You know, why do things happen? Things are existential. Things happen for some kind of reason.
Things are existential?
Yeah, things are existential.
And what does that mean? They happen for a reason?
Yes.
Okay. I remember what you just said reminded me of when I was very young, maybe around the time I was learning to walk. I was noticing that I was having thoughts and that I was thinking, and that amazed me because I said, what is this and what shall it become in time as we become greater thinkers?
Right.
What can we make with it? How can we build communities?
Right.
Those were the emotions I was feeling.
Right.
I didn't have the words, I didn't have the language yet,
Right.
but I was interested in community,
Right.
in solutions, in collaboration.
Right.
Was there more to say?
Not in particular. No.
Okay. What did you want to be when you were growing up? when you were really young?
It changed, actually. I didn't want to be an artist
Okay.
when I was third grade. Because last thing I wanted was financial instability. But now I'm like, I gotta go with it. This is the only way to become rich. I want to be rich and still be able to create the art that I want.
So it sounds like what you're saying is you're not doing art to get rich, but there's a wealth, there's an inner wealth by doing what you love.
Right.
And if you were going to be paid for anything, you would want it to be something that means everything to you.
Art doesn't have a price, but art can have a price.
Tell me what that means to you, what you're saying. How could we relate to that, others, to what you're saying?
So money is just, it's a concept created by humans, how we trade and all that.
Yes.
So the person who has more money is going to spend more money for, even if it's like 1%. If the person has $1 billion, then 1% means $1 million. $10 million. So it's basically how much money you have and how much you can spend it on a product. Now art is a product, and it doesn't have a price, but you can give a price.
I see.
And people are always amazed with like, oh, this abstract painting is $15 million. Why is that? I think money is just a fun way. It's just
It's play?
it's play,
It's play for the collector, maybe?
for the collector, for the rich people, I guess. Yeah,
It's their experimentation.
yeah, it's their experimentation.
I love it. We
And
came full circle.
People complain about it. Yeah, people
Well-
always want to play. Yeah,
People complain about it, you said?
people complain about like, why does this art cost $15 million?
Because someone's enjoying themselves.
Right.
They don't understand that, maybe.
Right. They want to make a bigger investment, or they just enjoy it. I don't know. It's like, okay.
They want to make a bigger investment? What do you mean?
They think art is like an investment.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
some people do that. And some people just really enjoy art and they have money and they want to spend it.
Yes.
It's freedom with responsibility. I always tell people it's freedom with responsibility.
It's freedom with responsibility?
And this comes from an interview in the 1960s by a jazz musician named Bill Evans.
Bill Evans?
Yeah. Like he made like Walter Debbie. Da, do, da, do, da, 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 do, do, da, do, 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 da, do, 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 da, do, 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 da, 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 do, da, do, da. Yeah.
That's great.
So yeah, I just like to beatbox.
You what?
I like to beatbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there more you wanted to say on that?
No. What's the question?
Oh, the question
I'm just thinking like 3-4 things at the same time.
That's okay. You can go with one at a time. The first one that comes to mind. So we were asking, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Oh, yes. So when I was 5 years old, I discovered this I guess, arcade game. Arcade culture is very big in Japan,
Okay.
and there's this children's area. They had games for kids,
Okay.
arcade games. So they had this arcade game called Mushi King. It's like Pokemon cards with like Beatles.
With Beatles?
Beatles.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to be is it an etymologist or no, not an etymologist. Somebody who studies like insects.
Okay.
So I want to be a scientist.
Because you enjoyed that game?
Yes.
Wow.
I wanted to study where all these insects came from and discover new insects
Okay.
and breed you know.
Yeah.
I used to own like foreign pets, foreign beetles in Japan. Like if you go to like a Home Depot in Japan, they sell them. They sell these beetles, and you could buy for like $50.
The same kind of Home Depot we have here?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very interesting.
Wow.
Like they have the pet store, I guess the junk store and the home goods store all in one place. All in one home center. They call it home center.
Okay.
Yeah. Home center. Yeah.
Is there more that you want to say? Is there
yeah.
more? Is there other things you want to say?
Okay.
Yeah. Tell me how it went. What was the process?
Okay. So
that was first.
that was first, and this is how I learned how to read Japanese.
Okay.
Because my grandma bought me like encyclopedias of all these beetles, and she taught me how to read a sector of what makes Japanese. I learned katakana. There's katakana, hiragana, kanji. If you combine them all, it's Japanese. So katakana is usually used for like foreign names, and all these like all these beetles have foreign names. So that's why I gave birth to learning about all these characters and stuff. It's play.
Yes.
It was play.
It was experimentation.
It was experimentation. And I think it's important for a person to go about their interests.
To do what?
To go about their interests.
Go about their interests, to learn more.
Yeah. No boundaries. Like the best way a person can learn things is to give them space. Give them space to experiment.
And we're talking about teachers too.
Teachers,
right?
yeah.
What
so
is it? Yeah.
the traditional school, they send you to where like you sit in a small desk and like write everything down. There's some benefit to that, but we don't function that way. Especially if you're super creative and like if you're sitting all day, you're gonna get depressed at some point.
Okay.
So for those people who feel like school isn't for you, it's okay.
Okay.
Find your own space and be a punk, But, respect your teachers.
What does that mean? What does that look like when you say be a punk? What does that look like? What might that look like? You're saying be yourself.
Be yourself.
But don't harm anyone.
Don't harm anybody.
You don't not break the law. Don't be a rebel.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a rebellion.
No.
But be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be peaceful and be you.
Peaceful and be yourself.
Yeah. And
Have
create
some self-respect.
and create connections, create
Exactly.
relationships.
Yes.
Contribute.
Contribute.
Improve things.
Exactly. I'm always trying to push this to the positive direction. But sometimes, negative emotions pop up.
Yeah.
But, the peaceful way to do it is through art. I keep repeating this because it is the way,
Right. Makes sense. Okay, what influenced what you wanted to be when you were growing up?
Oh, I want to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to go back to the previous
Sure,
question.
please do.
'Cause I haven't finished yet.
Yeah, we're just beginning.
Yeah,
right?
we just began.
We're just starting.
We're just getting started.
Okay.
So, I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to study beetles.
Okay.
And then the next phase was like different kinds of like remote control cars. So I guess that lasted for like 2 years.
Okay.
It just didn't last long,
And that was like engaging with mechanics, right?
Mechanics
And
yeah.
physics, really.
Yeah, and then I read The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, and I got into like time machines, theoretical physics.
And that began with the arts, the remote control cars.
Yeah,
I love that.
mechanics.
That's great. Next thing you know, you're building time machines.
Yeah.
In your imagination.
So I'm always thinking about mechanics and all that, how things work.
Okay.
Since I was, studying beetles.
That's why you appreciated that book title I sent you.
Yes.
Because we're talking about the mechanics of the universe.
Yeah, mechanics of the universe.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Energy.
Energy.
That wasn't the title. The title was. I'll put it in the link. I'll put it in this. I'll put it below this video. I'll put the title of the book I'm referring
And
to.
then, like,
It's about energy, though.
okay,
Theories.
physics lasted for. Physics is like the third thing that lasted. If I would rank like my discovery of finding like what kind of career I want, it would be like first tier art, like music, and then we have, I guess it's top two. I would say physics, theoretical physics,
What kind of physics?
theoretical physics.
Theoretical physics?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Like astrophysics, hyperspace, string theory,
The
there's so many
mechanics.
theories, yeah.
The mechanics of the universe.
world, the
yeah,
reality.
The mechanics of reality,
Yeah.
really.
Exactly.
We have many words for it, but we're talking about the building blocks
building
of the
blocks
universe.
is the universe, yes.
What is space made of? And what does space create?
Yes.
And what sustains
Yes.
space?
Yes. So
How does it
I-
create itself, right?
Yes.
How does it create itself?
It's like collecting magazines and books about like
Amazing.
time machine and all this very theoretical things that people can do eventually.
Yeah, you wanted to learn all the theories.
I want to know all the theories, yeah. So, just, yeah, my parents are very encouraged.
I personally,
They're
yeah.
encouraging me to be, a physicist. But then,
A physicist.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
physicist.
Okay.
I met
How old were you when you began that
10.
interest?
I was 10 years
okay.
old.
And then you said you were saying?
And then when I was 12, that interest lasted for like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
I would constantly talk about it with my friends, and they had no idea what it meant.
Yeah.
I didn't know the theory. I didn't have like the differential calculus or like linear algebra or anything.
At that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I was good with math.
It was
Yeah.
intuitive to you.
2A, yeah.
Intuitive.
2A straight, yeah. I was always imagining about all these scenarios that maybe Einstein could think of. But yeah, and I met this Nobel Prize winner. His name's Kip Thorne,
Okay.
and he's from Caltech. So
Okay.
I was
Pasadena.
like Stephen Hawking, Brian Greene, all these theoretical physicists. I was just like listening to BBC interviews, and I was like 11 or 12.
BBC interviews?
Yeah.
Okay.
All these
don't
BBC
know.
interviews, documentaries, Michio Kaku. I was like 12.
Wow.
I was into really complex stuff. Yeah. Since I was just
Very young.
very young, and all of them from like Beatles to RC cars to like to theoretical physics, everything had color. Everything had space, like some kind of a space.
And when you say Beatles, we're not talking about the band. We're talking about the life form.
Yeah.
Beetle
So
life
I'm
form.
gonna show you a really cool beetle. It's called the Caucasus beetle. That's from like Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I'll make an album someday based on like this beetle.
Okay, bring it up right here, closer. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So these beetles really look cool,
Wow.
And you could just hold it, with the palm of your hand, and it's itchy and like it's cute.
And they don't harm you.
Yeah. I think my mom complained about having babies of them.
Oh.
I just kept them in a pile of dirt,
Okay.
so they can eventually become one of these Beatles, you know.
Okay.
And I never took care of them even when I bought them.
Okay.
But my dad was always encouraging. My dad always supported whatever I wanted to do.
That's great.
I think a family is supposed to be encouraging, you know, whatever your child wants to do as a career, you know.
And it seems like that's also what a teacher kind of should be doing, right?
Yeah.
A good teacher.
Somebody who's not a family member but can.
But encourages.
Yes.
Encourages exploration.
And
Encourages.
a teacher has to. Okay, a good teacher have to go through hard things in life in order to teach them a lesson. So if a teacher never went through hard stuff, it can never be a teacher. It can never teach things, you know.
Okay.
A good teacher went through trauma or some kind of big happening, so they can teach things, you know. I don't think you can teach things unless you just went through life without purpose.
But we're not saying to traumatize the kids, right? You're just saying to give them perspective.
Yes.
Okay,
And
so
that's what makes the world go around, you know.
yeah.
When I die, I just want to play. I want people to play "What a Wonderful World." You know.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
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 What came next? So we have science, we have time travel.
And then I got into band.
Okay.
I went to high school.
And did you want to become a musician?
Not until 10th grade.
Okay.
And then I guess I wanted to join a jazz band, but I barely did music in school. You know? I was like beatboxing in school, and like people liked what I did. Hey, it's that beatbox guys. That's Joe Smish. Call him up, and we'll do a rap battle. You know. So high school is kind of an adventure. You know.
Okay. And
I met someone that I'm still friends with today. His name's Mick Ferrante. He just finished his third year at USC for orchestral composition. So he introduced me to musician like Jacob Collier. Jacob Collier is a multi-instrumentalist from North London. He gave me the idea of play, actually.
okay.
I didn't know what play meant until he mentioned it. His name's Jacob Collier. He's a freaking...
Found knowledge with freedom, then you're really talking. Freedom is way more important than knowledge. Like freedom of thought and freedom of experiment. Being fearless is like crazily important. A lot of people sit around worrying about this note is wrong, or what if this note it doesn't sound good, or what if I'm bad, or what if there's a right way of doing everything and I'm not doing the right way of doing everything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. You can literally do whatever you want. And if you realize that, it's just so capacious and so fun.
He just like takes a pop song and make it so jazzy that like, but it's still it's still functioning, you know. It's still like it's sculpting emotions with sound, you know.
Yeah.
And if you ever know like digital audio workstations, you know what a digital audio workstation is?
Digital audio workstation? What is it?
it's a computer software that allows you to make music.
Okay.
So this guy would like stack as many notes as possible onto a single song.
Wow.
He would just go up to like 800 tracks on one song.
Wow.
860 tracks. Like, come on. Like, who would do that? You know?
And somehow it works.
And somehow it works.
You enjoy it. You play, listening to it. It's play. Amazing.
I don't want to play. I don't want to play any of his songs right
Sure.
here because it'll get copyrighted.
But they can look him up. And
Yeah.
how do you spell his name?
Jacob Collier. Collia. Collier. Jacob Collier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And now, and I went. It was like a year and a half of pandemic for me. I guess two years. I went through some of the yuckiest stuff in my mind because I didn't know how to control myself. You know, I was just like, it was like a pause in my life. And I went through all these thoughts of like experimenting with religions and philosophy. It was yucky. Now I feel healthier than ever.
You feel healthier than ever now?
Yeah.
What helped you to get to that place that you're in now? How
I
did
started
you
working out like a year ago. So,
working out, exercise?
Yeah, exercise.
Okay.
I lost like 30 pounds.
Had you gained 30 pounds during the pandemic?
Well, I lost weight during the pandemic and I went up.
Oh,
So
okay.
like, now I'm like 160.
Okay. Is there more about what you wanted to be when you grew up? Band was the last thing we mentioned.
Yeah, like music, you know. Music was the last thing that
Okay.
just really kept me together in high school. And
In
in,
high
in college, I discovered art.
Okay, so college is when you discovered art.
Yeah. I'm still friends with this professor named Nick Aguayo. He's an abstract painter
Okay.
from, I guess, Palm Springs, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And he has really appealing like abstract art. So I give credit to him in introducing what acrylic painting is. You know, painting. I thought I could never paint until I just went into the class. And then like he just let me inside, you know, let me express my emotions through a piece of canvas, you know. So I gave a lot of credit to him.
Before that, had you done anything with drawing or any kind of painting at
so
all?
when I was 5 years old,
Okay.
I guess these teachers gave me a bunch of crayons and like want to do like a representation type of figure art. So like they have like bongos in front of it and like.
I'm sorry guys, it's closed now.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Let's see. Yeah.
You want to pause this? I thought this place was gonna.
What time is it?
Wait, this place closed at 3 a.m.
Well, I guess they close at 7.
Okay, we're gonna pause this.
Okay, how about this? We're going to come back and talk more. Do you want to finish that thought real quick that you were on? Okay, where were we? We were talking about you at your experience in
Painting class.
in painting class.
Yeah.
Let's come back to that in another video. Let's
Yeah.
do it that way.
Okay, this is
So
part
this can
one.
continue. Yeah, this is part one.
This is part 1.
We're coming back.
We're coming back.
Yeah, we're coming back.
Yeah.
Yes, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Okay,
Yes.
boom.
Boom.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next time.
Publish that. Yeah. I'll just hold this phone.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, hi Kento. We're just finishing up this interview here because the place closed. So hold
Yeah,
it up,
McDonald's
hold it like this.
closed,
Yeah,
so-
McDonald's closed.
Yeah, McDonald's closed.
And you were excited about these questions. So you
Yes.
said, let's finish this up because we only
Yeah.
had 2 questions left.
Yeah, 20 questions down. Wait, you came up with 30 questions?
30 questions. We're on. We finished
We're
20.
28. Yeah.
28. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last one we asked was, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Yeah.
Did you finish that?
Yeah, so briefly, yes.
Okay, and then now we're gonna say, what influenced what you wanted to be when you were growing up?
What influenced me?
Yeah, what influenced what you wanted to be? What you thought you wanted to be? What were the influences of what you wanted to be at that time? What affected that? What helped create that?
I think personally, like Jacob Collier, just gave me like a space, a thought process to express myself freely, and that's what I always wanted. And make money.
And this person you mentioned, remind us of who he is.
He's a multi-instrumentalist from North London.
Okay.
And
people can look him up.
He's an amazing musician. So it's always, I guess, all my life is just everything is from music, you know.
Okay.
But I can translate that musical feeling into different mediums.
Okay.
I think music and art it's the same language. I just think everything is the same language, you know.
Okay. The last question.
Yeah.
If you could live forever, healthy and young, as an artist,
I don't want to live forever.
would you choose this for yourself?
I would not like to live forever.
Okay.
I would like to have a chapter of my the last chapter of my life, and I need to figure that out. I'm still in the beginning. I'm 21, and I'm just trying to figure out what are my big concepts that I'm going to explore in my life, you know, and tell a story. So all my life will be about telling stories.
Okay. And it sounds like you want life to end for yourself. You want there to be an end.
I want to be a satisfying ending. Without an ending, there's no beginning.
Okay. Because there's Aubrey de Grey is a gentleman that researches reversing aging, and there's a lot of people researching.
There's Brian Johnson.
Okay.
There's a person like Brian Johnson. I just think it's weird to reverse aging.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like you think it's important for you to die.
Yeah.
What do you feel about other people that might want to live longer? Is that okay with them? Is that their choice?
It's freedom with responsibility. Mm-hmm. So whatever you do to yourself, you got to take full ownership. And I want to take ownership for what I believe in.
So if you had a best friend that made this choice, and if I call it the technology was available,
I don't mind it. I mean,
it would be okay with you. You guys could
Yeah.
be friends still.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you say to him though? Would you warn him against anything if he could live forever?
Yeah. Well,
what would the
be
warnings
careful
be?
if you get any diseases from just doing, you know, meds and all that. I personally don't participate in that.
Well, let's say you could live. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you could live healthy, right?
Yeah.
You could stay in good health.
Yeah.
And here, I could hold it.
Yeah.
Let's say you could stay in good health. So live forever, healthy and young.
Yeah.
Okay, hypothetically speaking, as an experiment, as a thought experiment. What would you warn against for your friend that chose that? Your friend that chose living forever, healthy and young, any age of their preference. Would there be any warnings, and what would those be? Let's say he could remain healthy though, right? Disease-free.
Well, if you're gonna live forever, you know, emotions are gonna stack up over the years. So, I think you'll lose a sense of purpose without the death part. So
for you, you're trying to imagine how could there be purpose in your life when you have forever to do whatever you want to do? Is that a way of saying it?
yeah, I mean, I'll still keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
Regardless.
If you were to live forever,
Yeah.
you would keep doing it?
I'll keep doing it.
Just doing it forever?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, until next time, we can do more conversations.
Yeah.
And
But this is the interview.
Yes, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Okay, Kento. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph.
All right, bye-bye.